Movie reviews of the High School Musical series. Starting with High School Musical. I believe it was a famous English writer who said, "When a man is tired of High School Musical, he is tired of life." In the first homeroom scene, Troy can be heard telling his friend Jason that he can't remember anything from the night before except pink jelly. I will give $100 to the first person who can explain this to me. Seriously, I don't get this inclusion. Me at everyone over 5'4".
Evaporate, tall person!
High School Musical and Breaking Bad are both set in Albuquerque. Makes you think. Sharpay and Ryan's version of What I've Been Looking For is way better than Troy and Gabriella's, and that's the truth. Coach Bolton's delivery of the line, "What the heck are those two doing in a tree?" is truly the peak of cinema. In Stick to the Status Quo, Martha admits her love of dancing and everyone tells her, no, stick to the status quo. Meanwhile, they are singing this to her whilst dancing. The kids at East High are weird, because they're pretty chill about Sharpay and Ryan being twins and playing love interests, but playing the cello? Baking? That is where they draw the line. My favorite part is when the cello kid has a solo, but we're hearing a guitar solo. This movie is so deeply lodged in my heart that every time something goes mildly wrong, I dramatically sing, "This is not what I want. This is not what I planned." And I can't sing. Alicia Rulin's silent performance in the audition scene is some of the best physical comedy I've seen in my life. Laughed so hard. I think I'm what do they call it? Sharpay? I think they call it a Sharpay Evans apologist. Anyways, yeah. I believe in dreaming, shooting for the stars. Sharpay was the victim, and I would die for her. Imagine thinking Bop to the Top was worse than that low-tempo, boring melody Troy and Gabriella sang after being late for the second time at auditions. When Troy tells Gabriella to turn around and he's just standing there on her balcony staring at her and then just starts singing, that's some horror movie stuff right there. Troy sneaking into Gabriella's balcony is literally trespassing, but he's pretty, so I guess he can get away with it. I'm still mad that they never went back and thanked the guy from the start who made them sing together, but go off. Can someone ask Kenny Ortega what the plot of Twinkletown is? It's been haunting me for over a decade. There's just so much deliciously over-the-top drama here. Sharpay and Ryan literally looking down on their fellow students like despotic leaders during the Stick to the Status Quo number. Excellent. Everybody quiet, the way Mrs. Darbus pronounces the word musicale. Both extremely iconic. The Wildcats engineering a full-blown intervention to get their team captain out of musical theater. Kind of understandable, actually. Gabriella singing a depressing ballad and wandering the halls like a lost soul after getting her feelings hurt by a boy she met a week ago. The first overreaction in recorded human history. Sharpay screaming at the top of her lungs whenever she's faced with a minor inconvenience. Relatable. I don't think I realized how much of an impact this delightfully campy masterpiece had on me until just now. It took me like 10 years to realize that there's a post-credit scene in this movie. And this movie is my childhood. High School Musical 2. So the first movie is called High School Musical, but there's no musical, only auditions. In this one it's called High School Musical 2, but there's no high school. It's about summer vacation. It's hilarious how this movie is actually deep-fried with all the saturation they use, and that includes the blatant blue-eyed filter applied to Zac Efron every couple of scenes. As far as Disney Channel original musicals go, this one's pretty legendary. It's blindingly bright, and every single song is a banger. Except for that dud of an ending, but fabulous, You Are the Music and Me, and Bet on It nearly make up for it. And Ryan really steals the show here. He's the real star. If you think Troy's the main character, then you're wrong, because it's obviously about Ryan and his self-discovery as an individual, beyond his relationship with his sister. These movies were pulling off a seamless magic trick right up until Troy is introduced to the college basketball players, and you are forced to confront just how 5'8" Zac Efron is. The golf course staff watching Troy during the Bet on It scene. Troy's CGI reflection will forever haunt me. Troy's face during Huma Huma Nuka Nuka Apua is priceless. Miley Cyrus's dance at the end was the most important cameo in film history. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I need Troy Bolton in his kitchen uniform to tell me that we can totally turn this thing around and work it out. Perhaps the second most iconic baseball scene in cinematic history. Many focus on the fact that Chad and Ryan switch clothes after their number, but don't focus on the song itself. I Don't Dance is a direct parallel to Fred Astaire's I Won't Dance, a song where he doesn't want to dance with his love interest because he's afraid he will fall in love with her. Fred Astaire does end up dancing and does end up with his love interest. Chad also ends up dancing and is in Ryan's lap after the number. In this essay, I will genuinely the gayest bourgeoisie overthrows the tyrannical government film I've ever seen. Gabriella giving back the tea necklace and then running away in her mom's minivan was the breakup of the 2000s, and if we're being honest, I still haven't recovered from it. Dude, I kinda highly dislike Gabriella. She dresses like a Kohl's mannequin. When Sharpay was shocked that she loved something more than herself, I felt that. There's a scene where Troy's having dinner with Sharpay's family, and he looks just like Amanda Bynes in She's the Man. Welcome to Caitlin's ranking of the songs from High School Musical 2. Literally every other song is greater than Every Day. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Moral of the story. Forget about basketball college scholarships that will give you a free ride to college. Staying with your high school sweetheart will get you there. High School Musical 3. Gabriella in High School Musical 2. Troy, I don't care if you have a fancy scholarship opportunity. You have to put your friends and your summer work commitments first, like the staff baseball game. So important. Gabriella in High School Musical 3. Troy, I don't care that I talked everyone into the spring musical and will be ditching my prom. I have a fancy scholarship opportunity to put before my friends and school commitments. So important. I think it's hilarious that Troy became valedictorian over my girl Taylor, when he didn't even know what Juilliard was. I'm losing my mind because during The Boys Are Back, Chad sings Just Like a Showdown, Will Smith and Bobby De Niro. As far as I know, the only film Will Smith and Robert De Niro have both appeared in is Shark Tale, where their characters, Oscar and Don Lino, respectively, have a showdown. High School Musical made an explicit reference to Shark Tale. Amazing! I'd just like to point out that this movie came out 2 years before Inception, so yes, the rumors are true. Christopher Nolan plagiarized the rotating hallway scene from directorial legend Kenny Ortega. This movie is very obviously perfect, but it's inexcusable that there are like 5 melodramatic Troy and Gabriella duets, and Miss Sharpay Evans only gets 1 single song. Absolutely unfair. I really do admire the evolution of the amount of extra in Troy's sad boy songs, and Sharpay's bumptious bangers, and Gabriella's bye-bye ballads. Why did Gabriella sell her house? Just to go to a summer program at her college? Where's her mom living? It would be 4 stars if it wasn't for the blatant anti-British propaganda. I watched this with my mom so she could see it for the first time, and we both agreed that Troy Bolton put the boyfriend standards too high. I cannot describe how many people on my Stanford guided tours asked where the tree was. Sharpay Evans is the Joker for women. For one summer, I saw this movie like 12 times in a mall theater with just me and my family. Alone. Just us. In the whole entire theater. Not sure what that says about me as a person, but make of that information what you will. My local junkyard, unfortunately, does not allow my spontaneous expressions of self through dance. The junkyard zombies during The Boys Are Back are what I hope my final form will be. The only bad thing about this trilogy is that it ends. Fade to black. Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. This was Sharpay's solo movie? This is not canon to the High School Musical franchise. I wasn't expecting this film to be good, but I was expecting to at least enjoy myself. But nope. From the poster, it makes it look like Sharpay is going to New York to pursue her dream of becoming a Broadway star. But instead, it's actually a film about getting her dog onto Broadway. And Sharpay's rival in this film is a 12-year-old boy? Seriously? I wanted to see Sharpay battle it out in auditions, being extra all the time, singing iconic songs. But what a fool I was. And the worst part? This film isn't even a musical. There are 4 songs in the film, and they're the best parts, especially her and Boy's audition, which was just Sharpay being Sharpay, and it was glorious. But the thing is, Sharpay is barely anything like she is in the High School Musical franchise. She's not that sassy, she's just kind of boring. To even think that after High School Musical she went on to do this is insulting. Whoever came up with the plot should have been fired on the spot. This film could have actually been okay, but they didn't even try. They just grabbed the most popular character from High School Musical and slapped a boring Disney Channel original musical plot into the mix, and out came this piece of rubbish. Sharpay, well, fine, is the only likable character. All the rest are terrible, apart from the dogs. This is so far from High School Musical that I will never consider it canon. If you want some perspective as to how terrible this film is, after you've finished it, go back and watch What I've Been Looking For, Bop to the Top, Fabulous, and I Want It All, because they're just legendary compared to whatever this was. Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure is the furthest thing from fabulous. Hashtag not my Sharpay. This really had a romantic montage of two dogs while a cover of Justin Bieber's Baby was playing.